Most bikes are fast, but only a few are fast enough to knock the air out of you. These are the bikes that bury the speedo, melt tires in fifth gear, and make you question your survival instincts. If names like Hayabusa, H2R, or LS218 make your palms sweat, you're right where you need to be. From race-bred screamers to jet-powered lunatics, these are the 15 fastest motorcycles ever built. Starting with the Ducati Panigale 4R. The Ducati Panigale 4R was Ducati's strike on the world's superbike rulebook. To meet the 1000cc displacement cap, Ducati took the standard 1103cc V4 and re-engineered it into a 998cc screamer, shortening the stroke to an absurd 48mm and pushing revs to 15,250 revolutions per minute. The result was the most powerful, naturally aspirated production motorcycle engine ever built. In stock trim, it makes 221 horsepower and 83 feet-pounds of torque. Add the optional race kit that is a Krapovic exhaust and proprietary Shell oil, and you're looking at 240.5 horsepower. That's tighter than an R6 and more extreme than anything else with a license plate. Except it doesn't always have one. The V4R is track-focused, with a road version that's barely legal. Although Ducati won't commit to a top speed, real-world tests and older iterations have hit 202 miles per hour. This version clocks in at 199 miles per hour, or 320 kilometers per hour. On the right track, with the right gearing, expect even more. The chassis is loaded: Olin suspension, Brembo-style brakes, a MotoGP-level electronic suite, and a dry weight under 393 pounds. All wrapped in wind tunnel bodywork, designed to keep it planted at speeds that should require a pilot's license. The Panigale 4R is definitely not for the casual Sunday rider. Next up is the MV Agusta Brutale 1000RR. The MV Agusta Brutale 1000RR is more than another naked bike. It's a barely contained missile with handlebars, with 208 horsepower and a 998cc inline 4 that revs like a maniac. Official top speed is listed at over 186 miles per hour or 300 kilometers per hour, and real-world reports confirm it. It's the fastest production naked bike ever built. Acceleration is absurd: 0 to 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour in 3.15 seconds, 0 to 200 kilometers per hour or 124 miles per hour in 8.3 seconds. That's superbike territory, with no windscreen and no fairing to save your spine. At such speeds, you aren't riding the bike. The bike is riding you, and you are just hoping your neck muscles don't give up on you. The chassis is pure MV, a steel trellis frame with aluminum swing arm, Olin's EC electronic suspension, and Brembo-style brakes biting 320mm discs. Traction control, launch control, wheelie control, and electronic damping try to keep it civil. But the Brutale doesn't care about being civil. This thing is raw. The torque hits at 11,000 revolutions per minute, and once it comes alive, the bike becomes a hand grenade. And while it's packed with rider aids, those systems exist not for comfort, but to keep you from getting launched into low orbit. The MV Agusta Brutale 1000RR is basically a speed junkie's dream wrapped in carbon and titanium. Get it wrong, and it'll remind you why it's called Brutale. Number 13, Yamaha YZF R1/R1M. The Yamaha YZF R1 and its premium sibling, the R1M, sit at the cutting edge of leader bike performance, but with a leash. Due to a gentleman's agreement among manufacturers, both are electronically limited to 186 miles per hour or 299 kilometers per hour. Strip the limiter and tune it right, and the R1M can break 190 miles per hour or 306 kilometers per hour with enough road. At the core is a 998cc cross-plane inline 4, making a clean 200 horsepower, paired with a MotoGP-inspired Big Bang firing order that delivers smoother, more usable power. It's race bike tech for the road, and Yamaha was first to make it mainstream. Looking at just specs, it looks evenly matched with its rivals. But it's the electronics that push the R1M up the leaderboard. Cornering ABS, slide control, lift control, quick shifter, launch control, and a 6-axis IMU for constant data feedback. You can ride it hard without it trying to kill you unless you turn everything off. The gear ratios are tall, with 5th gear often being the top usable cog for speed runs, as 6th is too long without a remap. Still, its acceleration curve is brutal, and on a long straight, The R1M pulls hard until the limiter steps in. While the base R1 is already a top-tier superbike, the R1M sharpens it with semi-active Olin suspension, carbon bodywork, and track-oriented tuning. The R1M is built to sustain raw speed lap after lap, and if you're brave enough to flash the ECU, it'll show you what Yamaha really meant it to do. Moving on to number 12, Ducati 5-4 Superleggera. The Ducati Superleggera 5-4 is the most extreme street-legal Ducati ever built. Limited to 500 units, it's an engineering flex from a company that already builds some of the fastest bikes on Earth. Powered by a 998cc Desmo Sedici Stradale RV4, this lightweight missile makes 224 horsepower out of the box, or 234 horsepower with the optional race kit installed. All that in a machine that weighs just 335.5 pounds, or 152.2 kilograms dry, thanks to extensive carbon fiber use across the frame, subframe, swing arm, wheels, and fairings. Top speed is over 200 miles per hour, or 322 km per hour, though Ducati's official numbers are conservative. Remove the restrictions, and this bike likely pushes closer to 210 plus miles per hour, depending on gearing and rider. The acceleration and stability are assisted by carbon winglets inspired by MotoGP tech, generating 50 kilograms of downforce at 270 km per hour to keep the front end planted. It's loaded with Ducati's most advanced electronics: slide control, wheelie control, engine braking, cornering ABS, a 6-axis IMU, and a race-ready TFT dash with telemetry logging. This is a bike built to dominate a circuit and turn heads doing it. It's brutally fast, stupidly light, and priced like an Italian supercar. But more than that, the Superleggera V4 is Ducati, showing off what it can do when it throws caution. And of course, budget to the wind. Our first BMW on the list, the BMW S1000RR. The BMW S1000RR doesn't shout, it just obliterates. Introduced in 2009, this litter bike quickly became the gold standard for production superbike performance, and the current generation keeps that legacy going with a top speed of 188 miles per hour, or 303 km per hour straight from the factory. Unrestricted or modified units have been clocked as high as 195 miles per hour, or 314 km per hour, but the stock figure is already near the top of the food chain. The bike can accelerate from 0 to 180 miles per hour in 16.13 seconds. It's powered by a 999cc inline-4, pushing 205 to 210 horsepower, depending on trim and year, with an almost perfectly linear torque curve. The real trick, though, is the balance. This bike is as sharp in the corners as it is savage on the straights. BMW baked in cutting-edge tech, shift cam variable valve timing, cornering ABS, dynamic traction control, launch control, wheelie control, slide assist, and multiple ride modes, all tuned for real-world use and track domination. The frame is featherweight aluminum, the aerodynamics are wind tunnel tested, and everything about the bike is engineered for velocity without chaos. You can brake late, lean hard, and trust the electronics to keep everything in check. It's a road-going race machine that can be comfortably street-ridden until you decide to twist the throttle wide open and see what 188 miles per hour feels like, with BMW stability and German precision holding it all together. Number 10, MV Agusta F4 R312. The MV Agusta F4 R312 is named after its top speed. 312 stands for 312 km per hour, or 194 miles per hour, a figure achieved at Italy's Nardo Speed Bowl, making it the world's fastest production motorcycle when it dropped in 2007. It took that crown with signature Italian flair, exotic engineering, aggressive design, and an inline-4 engine that sounds like a Formula One car on amphetamines. Powered by a 1078cc radial valve inline-4, the F4R312 delivered 183 to 185 horsepower, depending on year and testing conditions. Compared to the F41000R, it gained an extra 80cc of displacement, larger bore, longer intake funnels, and tighter gear ratios in the first 3 gears, helping Torquey hit harder and earlier. A slipper clutch and revised fuel mapping added refinement to the madness. Suspension came from 50mm Marzocchi forks up front and a fully adjustable Sachs rear shock, both tuned for track-level stiffness. Braking was handled by Brembo 4-piston calipers and dual 320 mm front discs. The chassis was MV's signature steel trellis frame mated to aluminum side plates and a single-sided swing arm. Next up is the BMW M1000RR. The BMW M1000RR is more than an upgraded S1000RR. It's the full-fat, no-excuses, race-ready evolution. BMW slapped the M badge, usually reserved for fire-breathing cars on this superbike, for a reason. It's lighter, faster, and angrier, with a top speed of 195 miles per hour, or 314 kilometers per hour. The fairing? All carbon. The winglets? Carbon. The wheels? Also carbon, if you tick the competition package. Power comes from a 999cc inline 4 with BMW's shift cam variable valve timing, but it's tuned harder than the S1000RR, 212 horsepower, and a red line that pushes well past 15,000 revolutions per minute. Aerodynamics are dialed. The carbon winglets generate up to 40% more downforce than the previous model, helping keep the front planted under brutal acceleration and at triple-digit lean angles. Front brake ducts built into the mudguard help with cooling at race pace. Electronics is everything you'd expect: cornering ABS, slide control, launch control, GPS data logging, a 6-axis IMU, and more modes than you'll ever need. But they're not there to impress. They're there to help you survive the full capabilities of this machine. Then we have Aprilia RSV 41100 Factory. The Aprilia RSV 41100 Factory doesn't come from a giant corporate juggernaut like Honda or Yamaha. It comes from Noale, a modest Italian operation that punches way above its weight. Aprilia has built its name on racing innovation, and the RSV 4 Factory proves it. With a claimed top speed of 190 plus miles per hour or 305 plus kilometers per hour and reports of 200 miles per hour reached on closed tracks, it's easily one of the fastest production superbikes on Earth. Under the fairings is a 65-degree 1099cc V4, producing 217 horsepower, paired with 92 pound-feet of torque and a soundtrack that's pure MotoGP. It's more than just about raw speed, though. This bike is designed to dominate corners, not just straights. That's why it features a dual-beam aluminum chassis, premium Öhlins electronic suspension, and Brembo-style brakes with floating stainless rotors and centered pads. A new ECU helps the bike meet emission standards without strangling performance, and aerodynamics include carbon winglets that provide actual ground effect downforce. Add in a 6-axis IMU, wheelie control, launch control, and advanced traction mapping, and you've got a bike that's equally at home setting hot laps or shaming leader bikes on canyon roads. With a base price just under $26,000, it's not cheap, but it's probably the closest thing you can buy to an Aprilia race bike without needing a grid slot. Number 7. Suzuki Hayabusa. The Suzuki Hayabusa is an OG in the speed game. When the original model launched in 1999, it shattered expectations with a verified 194 miles per hour or 312 kilometers per hour top speed, making it the fastest production motorcycle ever built. That figure wasn't a guess. It was real, tested, and so disruptive, it triggered a gentleman's agreement among major manufacturers to cap future bikes at 186 miles per hour or 300 kilometers per hour. And yet, the Hayabusa barely broke a sweat doing it. Named after the peregrine falcon, a bird known for devouring blackbirds at terminal velocity, the Hayabusa was Suzuki's not-so-subtle jab at Honda's CBR 1100 TX Blackbird. It became a cult icon because it paired that speed with comfortable ergonomics, reliable manners, and long-distance touring ability. No other bike on this list has its level of comfort at such insane velocity. While the 1999 to 2007 models set the tone, it's the 2008 to 2014 generation that truly weaponized it. Power jumped to 194 horsepower, Torqueo hit 155 Newton-meter, and rider aids were still non-existent. You controlled the bike with your right wrist and sheer nerve. No traction control, no cornering ABS. Just you, 1,340cc of fury, and the length of the road ahead. Later generations added electronics, refined the power delivery, and softened the edges slightly, but the core DNA remained. Even today, the 2024 model is electronically limited, but de-restricted Hayabusas still terrorize drag strips and salt flats. The Hayabusa remains the hyperbike OG. Now in with the electric, the Damon Hypersport. The Damon Hypersport is electric, futuristic, and at least on paper every bit as fast as its gas-powered rivals. With a claimed top speed of 200 miles per hour or 322 km per hour, 200 horsepower, and a 200-mile range, the numbers are suspiciously clean. But Damon's released dyno footage confirming the 200 miles per hour claim, and the Premier and HS trims both pack the same punch. Powered by a PMAC liquid-cooled electric motor, the Hypersport delivers an impressive 147 pound-feet of torque, instantly far more than most superbikes ever see. Acceleration's expected to be savage, and the lack of gears and engine noise only amplifies the sense of warp speed surrealism. With a price tag starting around $28,000 or $40,000 for the Premier model, this is a high-end electric weapon that's aiming to disrupt the hyperbike hierarchy. Beyond the speed, the Damon is banking on tech. Its co-pilot system uses a neural network and onboard sensors to detect hazards in real time and give haptic feedback to the rider. It also features Shift, a system that adjusts riding ergonomics between upright commuter mode and aggressive sport mode at the push of a button. What's the catch, though? As of now, deliveries still haven't started despite pre-orders opening back in early 2020. But if Damon delivers on its promises, the Hypersport might just be the first electric superbike that can go toe-to-toe with combustion-powered legends. The next bike is also electric, the Lightning LS 218. Forget everything you thought you knew about electric motorcycles. The Lightning LS 218 is here to break your speedo and your skepticism. With a verified top speed of 218 miles per hour or 351 km per hour, it's the fastest electric motorcycle in the world. Its name comes from that jaw-dropping speed figure, but the LS 218 isn't just about top-end numbers. This thing rips from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2 seconds and delivers an absurd 220 pound-feet of torque instantly. That's more than a Dodge Challenger Hellcat Red-Eye, and it comes from a liquid-cooled IPM electric motor producing a brutal 244 horsepower. But this isn't just a dyno queen. The LS 218 has raced and beaten gas-powered monsters at the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb and other serious motorsport events. Unlike vaporware bikes with endless delays like Damon, the LS 218 has been on sale since 2016. It's real, it's fast, it's battle-tested. Yes, it costs nearly $39,000, but for that you get Brembo brakes, Olin suspension, a billet aluminum swing arm, and DC fast charging that juices the battery to full in 30 minutes. Range isn't class-leading at 188 miles, but let's be honest, nobody's buying this to tour the Alps. They're buying it to humiliate leader bikes and make grown men cry. Number 4. MTTY-2K Turbine Superbike. The MTTY-2K is a middle finger to engineering norms. Built around a Rolls-Royce Allison 250C 18 turboshaft engine normally found in helicopters, the Y2K was the first turbine-powered street-legal production motorcycle. And by production, we mean each one is hand-built to order, costs around $185,000, and sounds like a jet taking off when you twist the throttle. This monster makes 320 horsepower and an obscene 425 pound-feet of torque, launching it to a confirmed top speed of 227 miles per hour or 365 km per hour. It hits 0 to 100 km per hour or 0 to 62 miles per hour in 1.5 seconds, which is quicker than your brain can process the incoming road signs. Guinness World Records named it the most powerful production motorcycle, and honestly, it might also be the most unhinged. Unlike turbojet bikes that rely on thrust, the Y2K uses a turboshaft engine that drives the rear wheel via a 2-speed gearbox. It runs on just about anything flammable, diesel, kerosene, and even tequila, according to MTT's CEO, making it the only superbike that could double as a mobile bar. MTT built this machine because everyone said it couldn't be done. With limited rider aids, zero traction control, and enough heat output to roast your leg like a Thanksgiving turkey, the Y2K is not for the faint of heart. Next up is the Kawasaki Ninja H2R. The Kawasaki Ninja H2R is an insane bike. It is a track-only motorbike armed with supercharging 310 horsepower and a design so menacing it looks like it was built by Darth Vader's pit crew. Underneath the sharp origami-like bodywork sits a supercharged 998cc inline-4, producing torque numbers that would make most leader bikes cry. That boost allows the H2R to scream all the way to 249 miles per hour or 400 km per hour, a number achieved by world supersport champion Kenan Sofuoglu in a legendary 2016 bridge run across the Osman Gazi Bridge in Turkey. From standstill to 400 km per hour in 26 seconds. No nitrous, no cheating, just raw Kawasaki lunacy. This thing isn't fast for a bike, it's fast for anything. It sits in the same speed tier as Bugatti Veyrons and Koenigsegg's. The frame is a trellis-style skeleton designed to flex precisely under the immense power load. The exhaust screams like a banshee. The price tag is around $58,000, and that's before you factor in the cost of your track days, tires, or orthopedic surgery. It doesn't come with headlights or indicators because why pretend? The H2R exists for one reason: to be the fastest. It's not road legal, and it doesn't care. It's the final boss of motorcycles. And unless you're wearing leather stitched from fearlessness, you have no business twisting that throttle. Number 2, MTT 420RR. If the MTT Y2K was already ridiculous, the MTT 420RR is what happens when Marine Turbine Technologies throws sanity out the window and feeds a motorcycle a full Rolls-Royce Allison gas turbine. Yes, the kind of engine designed to keep helicopters airborne. Here, it's pushing a two-wheeled street-legal carbon fiber missile with a claimed top speed of 273 miles per hour or 439 km per hour. No one has dared test it at full tilt, probably because their life insurance won't cover divine intervention. This monster generates 420 horsepower at 52,000 revolutions per minute, and more absurdly, 500 pound-feet of torque at just 2,500 revolutions per minute. That's enough to rip a small country off the map if you twist the throttle without thinking. Jay Leno, one of the few brave or crazy enough to write it, described the feeling as the hand of God pushing you in the back. Unlike the Kawasaki H2R, this thing is street legal. Let that sink in. A turbine-powered superbike, complete with automatic transmission, carbon fiber fairings, and the ability to run on diesel and kerosene. Only 5 are made per year, and they're priced accordingly. Somewhere between a Lamborghini and a military-grade drone. But if you want the most powerful production bike on Earth, look no further than the MTT 420RR. Just remember, when you crash this, St. Peter might ask for your autograph. Finally, a Dodge Tomahawk. The Dodge Tomahawk is an insane bike packed into one hell of a concept. It's a philosophical question, wrapped in 680 kilograms of insanity and aluminum armor. Built by Dodge in 2003 as a concept vehicle, the Tomahawk is what happens when you give car engineers an open bar and tell them to design a bike. The result is a quad-wheeled V10-powered mutant that looks like it escaped from a Mad Max storyboard. Let's be clear, this is not street legal. It's not even technically a motorcycle. It has 4 wheels, but they're twin-mounted in close proximity to simulate a two-wheeled stance. Dodge insists that this thing could hit a top speed of 420 miles per hour or 680 km per hour. That number has never been officially verified, and for good reason. No sane human has volunteered to find out. Underneath the science fiction armor is the 8.3-liter V10 from the Dodge Viper, pushing out 500 horsepower. The frame is an aluminum alloy, and its brutal design looks like something built to punch through buildings, not wind. Dodge only made 9 units, each sold at a reported price of $550,000. That puts it among the most expensive motorcycle-shaped objects ever made. If you want one, you're not just buying speed, you're buying a piece of mechanical mythology. What other bike belongs on the list? Comment down below and subscribe if you are a fan of speed demons.